Greetings and welcome back to the Battle of Aspern Essling. I am your host as always. Let's see how this mess continues. Because this battle is a true nightmarish mess at the moment. Yeah, this battle is a true monstrous mess. Oof. This should, however, be close to being over given the amount of routing going on. Lanquay. Alright, he's going to drive them back, for sure. Probably with a few losses. I think at this point, the battle is going to be pretty much over, as the losses are just getting too extreme. Ouch. Alright. Okay, they escaped the pocket. And they've driven me back into Essling. Alright, what route? I had 8 units route. Mostly in Essling. With a couple over there. That element of the Froon. Alright, so yes. We have officially been driven back out of Essling, essentially. For the most part. Which is not a good thing, to say the least. To have my position smashed out again. We want to keep on trying to knock out guns of his. while we also try and blow away as much infantry as we can. Alright. You are going to shoot at them. Alright, their guns there are just too damn blowing my face in. I cannot afford to stay up there any longer. So I'm going to do precisely what I should be doing at that point, which is withdrawing. This fresh battalion of Grens, I think, shall get into the village and to help out. But with the Imperial Guard, for the most part, determined to drive me from the village, like they are. Who are you? You are the Karatuskis. Estahani, Ludwig. Charge. Have the Rosenberg Chevalier hit them in the flank. Even if I don't do that much, the chance to do something is good. Estahani. The worst hit grenadiers are going to stay out of the way, while others are going to start continuing forward. Neustadter will go up there. You are going to rejoin him as you come back forward. In the meantime, we're too busy going to be trying to reorganise those troops that I do have here in this unholy mess. Turn that way. Can they shoot at anyone? They should be able to. No one. Either out of range or someone's in the way. Alright, this point, they are to get run down and finished off. They are not going to be. I'm not going to allow them to escape this time. No escape this time. I will not permit another escape. Alright. The Dragoons. Hessen-Homburg is to come forward. Liechtenstein is to stay there. Yeah, you have routed at this point, which is understandable, and you are also going to stay out of it at this point. But given that, well, at this point, both sides are just thoroughly exhausted. There's no two ways about it. We are both just thoroughly exhausted. Both sides are exhausted. Both sides are just, yeah. Hiller will go and try and rally those lot. Except the Freikorps. The Freikorps can try and be rallied by Nordman and Vicente himself. Alright, let's look for those battalions that are truly battered and no longer capable of action, like these ones, and pull them out. They just do not serve a purpose in the fight now. So I'm going to pull them back. Alright. As I'm going to constrict those troops in the middle back, because at this point they just don't really serve a purpose where they are. So I intend to have them rally and go do something else. This element of heavy cavalry under Siegenthaler will move around and start getting into position. What is the French? Yeah. It is vicious. They've lost more leaders. Who have they lost? They lost Cohorn, who was killed, and a Colonel Anonymous, who was captured. So, yeah. Gonna pull them back. Move them there. Move them there. This one element of the regiment is to stay where it is and continue to slug it out with the guard for the moment. Where's Rosenberg? There he is. Esther Haney, you can come forward. You will be behind them, and then you will be behind them. Since that regiment is fairly fresh. The Erzherzog Ludwig is not, however. But this second battalion of them are. Danovich is to stay where he is. Is there anything else that can shoot? Not really, so if they can't shoot, they're going to move and get into other positions. Especially my heavy 12-pounders. Alright. But they're all exhausted. Those two battalions are going to stay out of the way because they are both battered, as is that. That one's fairly intact, and these two are fairly intact but exhausted. So, it's a case of they are routing in that direction. This battalion is to fall back into those woods. And then these two are to form lines here. Clibex. Let's get these guns moved forward. While I also gather my Grenzers again. Regather the Grenzers. Regathered the Grenzers into their full battalion. Alright, they should be able to drive them to running. They're going to shoot them. Ow, that hurt. But with that, I think we are almost done with this battle as a whole, given that this horrific-ass mess has devolved, and most of the French army, at least on the left flank, is currently in the process of running. So, it's more a case of, can I keep the pressure on in Essling? I need to keep the pressure on in Essling enough to be able to allow keep the pressure on in Essling to allow my forces in Aspern to definitely win. But it's a case of trying to keep my forces fairly not necessarily intact, but intact enough to allow this final chunk of the fight to happen. That's the real crux of the matter here. We've brought over the O'Reillys, Chevaulegers, who belong to him. So he's going to go rejoin that, take charge of them as a whole, and get them ready to doing things. But damn, this battle has been bloody as all hell. I've lost over 20,000 men. The French have lost not far from 16. Well, actually, more than that. They've lost not far from 17,000 men. So, and by the end of this turn, they're easily going to have started to match me in that regard. Alright, you can go there. Who do you even belong to? You belong up here with Linda's lot. So, you belong with them. But this should at least dissuade any cavalry shenanigans. But at this point, let us see what happens. So, I think I've done all the shooting I want to. So, now the melee phase. Well, that's an automatic victory, so they're overrun. Oh, right, you're detached, aren't you? The Jaeger and the Archduke Charles Legion will overrun them. So, yeah. Overrun them. And then the final chunk of it should be me overrunning this lot. Can you even take part? Yes, you can. Oof. But with that, Aspern has now officially fallen, except for this one little bit, which is the 1st Battalion of the 24th Leger, which is now just surrounded by Austrians and will be captured. But with that, it has now tipped. Ouch, that hurt like hell. Alright, not facing, of course they're not. Drive them. The Spallini regiment gets shot in the face. Ouch. And is definitely not going to make any progress there. But with that, we are now set for an Austrian major victory as a whole, just from losses. The French have lost yet another officer. Who did they lose? They lost Dalsemain, who was captured. So they've lost yet another officer. They might drive me out of Essling, which, even if they do, and they are very much potentially set to do so. So even if they do drive me out of Essling, I should be set to win this at this point. So 21,000 men lost on my side to what's that? 19,500 French. I think after this turn I'm going to put in a termination bid, given that both armies are just mashed beyond belief and just exhausted. This chaos is going to end shortly anyway, so but I hope you enjoyed this episode. I will hopefully see you with either the next episode or the culmination of the episodes, with the culmination of them as we end up with most likely a ceasefire. It would still be an Austrian major victory, but it is going to end up in essentially a ceasefire, where we basically allow the French to withdraw, and as a result we also are allowed to withdraw, as we just both have had enough at this point, I think. But again, I hope you've enjoyed this part, and I shall hopefully see you with either the next part as I said, well, actually, there will be a next part because a termination bid doesn't happen immediately. So, I will see you next time. So, bye-bye for now.